Welcome to my channel. Old Worth Coins. The 1957 5-cent coin of the United States, commonly called the Jefferson nickel, is a coin that holds historical, collectible, and educational value for both numismatists, coin collectors, and casual enthusiasts. First issued in 1938 to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and principal author of the Declaration of Independence, the coin features a left-facing portrait of Jefferson on the front, obverse side. The inscriptions on the obverse include "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1957, placed near Jefferson's profile. The reverse side of the coin shows a detailed image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, along with the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, the country name United States of America, and the denomination 5 cents. The design was created by Felix Schlag, and this version of the nickel has remained largely unchanged for decades. The 1957 Jefferson nickel was minted in 2 locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia minted coins do not have a mint mark, while the Denver coins feature a small D mint mark on the reverse, to the right of the Monticello building. The total mintage was very high, 136,828,900 coins from Philadelphia and 136,828,200 from Denver, making it a common date in the Jefferson series. In terms of metal composition, the 1957 nickel is made of 75% copper and 25% nickel, with a weight of 5 grams and a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. It has a smooth, non-reeded edge. There were no silver nickels in this year. Silver was only used during 1942 to 1945 due to wartime shortages. Because of the high mintage and the fact that most coins were made for circulation, the 1957 nickel in used, circulated condition is usually worth only its face value of 5 cents. However, the coin's value increases with better condition, especially when the coin is in uncirculated or mint state, MS, condition, meaning it was never used in day-to-day transactions and has no wear. Mint state coins are graded on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from MS60 to MS70. A typical 1957 nickel in MS60 to MS63 might sell for around 50 cents to $1.50, but coins in MS65 to MS67, especially with attractive luster and no marks, can sell for $5 to $25 or more. One of the most important collector features is whether the coin has full steps, FS, on the Monticello building. Full steps refer to a sharp, well-struck image of the steps on the reverse side of the coin. This detail is often weak due to worn dies, so a nickel with clearly defined full steps is more rare and can command a much higher value. For example, a 1957 D Jefferson nickel with full steps in MS66 or better can be worth $50 to $100 plus, depending on market demand. In contrast, a worn coin with heavy scratches or discoloration, even if old, typically holds little collector value. Collectors also look for die errors such as doubling, off-center strikes, or die cracks. While rare for 1957 nickels, any verified error can increase the coin's value significantly. In conclusion, while the 1957 5-cent coin is not rare and is easy to find in circulated condition, it is still popular among collectors for completing Jefferson nickel sets or for searching high-grade coins with full steps. A regular coin from your pocket may not be worth more than 5 cents, but a well-preserved example with strong detail, original mint luster, and certified grade could be worth many times more. Coin value depends on factors like condition, grade, strike quality, mint mark, rarity, and demand, and each of these influences how much a 1957 nickel is worth in today's market. The 1979 United States 5-cent coin, commonly called the Jefferson nickel, is a small but important part of American coinage. It features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the U.S., on the front called the obverse, and on the back called the reverse. It shows an image of Jefferson's home, Monticello, in Virginia. The design was first introduced in 1938 and was created by artist Felix Schlag. The 1979 nickel is made from a metal mix of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighs 5 grams, and is 21.2 millimeters in diameter. In 1979, these nickels were made in 3 different places: Philadelphia, with no mint mark, Denver, with a small D mint mark, and San Francisco, with an S mint mark only for proof coins. The Philadelphia Mint produced around 463 million coins, Denver produced about 325 million, and San Francisco made around 3.1 million proof coins, which are specially made for collectors. Because so many of these coins were made, most 1979 nickels are not rare and are still found in circulation today. In terms of value, a regular 1979 nickel that has been used, called circulated, is usually worth only its face value, just 5 cents, because it is so common. However, coins that were never used and remain in perfect or near-perfect condition, called uncirculated, can be worth more. For example, an uncirculated 1979 D nickel in mint state 65, MS65, condition might be worth $3 to $10, depending on the quality of the coin and how sharply it was struck. One very important thing collectors look for is the full steps feature on the reverse side of the coin. If the steps on the front of the Monticello building are sharp and complete, usually 5 or 6 steps clearly visible, the coin is said to have full steps, FS, and this can greatly increase its value. A 1979 nickel with full steps in MS66 condition could be worth $20 to $50 or more, especially from the Denver Mint. Full steps nickels from the Philadelphia Mint are harder to find and are usually worth even more in high grade. Another version of this coin is the 1979 S-proof nickel, made only at the San Francisco Mint for collector proof sets. These proof coins have a shiny, mirror-like surface and very fine details because they are struck using special dies. A typical 1979 S-proof nickel is worth about $1 to $3, but if it is in perfect proof condition, PR69 or PR70, and graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, it can be worth $10 to $30 or more. These proof coins were never released into circulation, so they are usually found in good condition inside original proof sets. Some error nickels from 1979 are also valuable. These are coins that were made incorrectly at the mint. Common errors include off-center strikes, double die coins, where parts of the design appear doubled, clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing, and wrong planchet errors, where the coin is struck on the wrong type of metal blank. If you find a 1979 nickel with a clear and unusual error, it could be worth $50 to several $100s, depending on how rare and dramatic the error is. Such coins are best checked by a professional coin grader or sent to a grading service for verification. Historically, the 1979 nickel comes from a time of economic struggle in the U.S., with high inflation and fuel shortages. Despite these challenges, the U.S. Mint continued to produce coins using traditional designs. The Jefferson nickel remained unchanged during this period and symbolized stability and American heritage. For coin collectors, the 1979 nickel is not rare, but it is an important part of the modern Jefferson series. Many collectors try to collect one coin from each year and mint mark, so the 1979P, 1979D, and 1979S are essential for a full set. New collectors enjoy finding these coins in pocket change or old coin jars, while advanced collectors look for high-grade, full-step, or error coins to complete their collections. In conclusion, the 1979 Jefferson nickel is a very common coin in circulated condition, usually worth only 5 cents, but certain uncirculated coins, proof coins, or error coins can be worth much more, anywhere from $1 to over $100 depending on condition and rarity. It may not be a rare treasure, but it remains a valuable learning tool for collectors and an important coin in U.S. monetary history. The 1983 United States 5-cent coin, commonly known as the Jefferson nickel, is a piece of circulating coinage that carries both historical and collectible interest. Like other coins in the Jefferson series, which began in 1938, the 1983 nickel features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the front, obverse, and his famous Virginia estate, Monticello, on the back, reverse. The design was originally created by Felix Schlag and remained largely unchanged until a redesign in 2004. The 1983 nickel is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighs 5 grams, and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters with a plain, smooth edge. In 1983, the coin was minted at 2 locations for regular circulation: Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark. No proof coins were struck in San Francisco in 1983, as the U.S. Mint did not produce proof sets that year due to internal adjustments and changing demand. In terms of mintage, Philadelphia produced around 561 million nickels, and Denver produced about 536 million, making both versions quite common. Because of these high mintage numbers, most 1,983 nickels found in circulation are not rare and usually worth only their face value of 5 cents. However, collectors place more value on coins that are in exceptional condition, particularly uncirculated, mint state, examples with sharp details and minimal marks. Coins graded MS 63 to MS 65 by grading companies like PCGS or NGC are worth between $1 and $5. If the coin is graded higher, like MS 66 or MS 67, the value can increase significantly, sometimes reaching $10 to $25 or more, especially for the Denver Mint version, which tends to have better strike quality in that year. One important feature collectors look for is the presence of full steps on the Monticello building. A coin with full steps, abbreviated FS, shows 5 or 6 clear, uninterrupted steps on the reverse side, just below the dome of Monticello. Full step coins are more difficult to find because they require a very strong and even strike. In 1983, finding nickels with full steps is relatively challenging, particularly from the Philadelphia Mint, which was known for weak strikes during this period. A 1983 P full steps nickel in high grade can be worth $50 to $150 or more, while a 1983 D full steps in MS 66 plus condition may be worth $30 to $75, depending on the market. While most 1983 nickels are normal, some collectors search for error coins, which are coins that were struck incorrectly due to mistakes at the mint. These errors can include off-center strikes, double die errors, clipped planchets, or coins struck on the wrong planchet, metal blank. These types of errors are not extremely common, but they do exist. If you happen to find a 1983 nickel with an obvious error, its value could range from $20 to several $100s, depending on the type and rarity of the mistake. It is best to have such a coin inspected or graded by a professional. Historically, the 1983 nickel was minted during a time of economic recovery in the U.S. following the inflation and recession of the late 1970s and early 1980s. There were no major changes to the nickel's design during that time, but the U.S. Mint was modernizing its equipment and adjusting coin production methods, which affected strike quality in some years. The 1983 nickel is often collected as part of a complete date and mint mark set by Jefferson nickel enthusiasts. It is especially important for collectors seeking full step examples from each year, as these are harder to find from the early 1980s. While the 1983 nickel does not stand out as a key rarity, it holds value in high grades, with full steps, or if it contains a notable mint error. In conclusion, the 1983 Jefferson nickel is a common but collectible coin. In circulated condition, it is worth 5 cents, but in uncirculated condition or with special characteristics like full steps or mint errors, it can be worth $1 to over $100. For beginner collectors, it is an affordable way to explore U.S. coin collecting, and for advanced collectors, it presents a challenge to find high-grade or full-step specimens. Whether found in pocket change or coin rolls, the 1983 nickel is an important part of the long-running Jefferson series and a small but meaningful piece of American history. The 1987 United States 5-cent coin, commonly known as the Jefferson nickel, is a standard coin in U.S. currency, still used today, and is widely collected by coin enthusiasts. This coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the front, called the obverse, and on the back, called the reverse. It shows Jefferson's historic Virginia home, Monticello. The design was originally made by artist Felix Schlag in 1938 and stayed the same until 2004. The coin has a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighs 5 grams, and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters with a plain, smooth edge. In 1987, the Jefferson nickel was produced at 2 U.S. Mint facilities for general circulation: Philadelphia, with no mint mark, and Denver, with a small D mint mark. The San Francisco Mint produced only proof versions of the coin, marked with an S, which were made specially for collectors and not for general use. In total, the Philadelphia Mint produced around 411 million coins, the Denver Mint around 459 million, and the San Francisco Mint around 3.3 million proof coins. because the total mintage in 1987 was very high, nearly 900 million coins in total. Most 1987 nickels are common and can still be found in circulation today. In circulated condition, where the coin has been used and shows signs of wear, a 1987 nickel is worth only its face value of 5 cents. However, collectors are often interested in coins that are in uncirculated condition, meaning they were never used in everyday transactions and remain in near-perfect shape. These coins can be worth $1 to $3 in mint state, MS, grades like MS-63 or MS-64. If the coin is in a higher grade like MS-65, MS-66, or even MS-67, the value can rise to $5 to $25 or more, especially for coins with strong details and few marks. The 1987 D Denver Mint nickels tend to be better struck, so they are often more available in higher grades compared to the 1987 P Philadelphia Mint. One important feature collectors look for is the presence of full steps on the reverse of the coin. These are the lines that represent the steps in front of Monticello. If the coin was struck very sharply, all the steps are clearly visible and not worn or blended together. These are called full steps, FS, nickels and are much harder to find, especially from the Philadelphia Mint, which often had weak strikes in the 1980s. A 1987 P or 1987 D Jefferson nickel with full steps, in MS-66 or higher condition, can be worth $20 to $100 or more, depending on its quality and demand. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS and NGC assign special labels for full steps coins because of their extra value and rarity. In addition to regular and full steps coins, collectors also look for error nickels, which are coins that were mistakenly made during the minting process. Some examples of errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, double die coins, where some parts appear doubled, clipped planchets, where a part of the coin is cut off, and coins struck on the wrong metal blank, such as a penny planchet. If you find a 1987 nickel with one of these unusual errors, it could be worth $25 to several $100s, depending on how dramatic and rare the error is. Such coins are best confirmed and graded by a professional coin grading service. The proof version of the 1987 nickel, made at the San Francisco Mint, is different from regular coins. These were never used in everyday circulation and were made only for collectors using polished dies and special planchets, giving them a shiny, mirror-like finish. These 1987 S-proof nickels are still very common among collectors and are worth about $1 to $3 in normal condition. But if they are graded PR69 or PR70, perfect condition, by a professional service, they may be worth $10 to $30 or more. These coins are usually found in their original U.S. mint-proof sets. Historically, the 1987 nickel represents a period of stability in U.S. coinage, with no major changes in design or composition. During the 1980s, the U.S. Mint focused on improving coin production and preparing for modern updates. Although the Jefferson design was not changed until 2004, collectors today enjoy looking back at this era to complete their sets. The 1987 nickel may not seem special at first glance, but for people building a complete Jefferson nickel collection, it is an important piece. Many collectors aim to collect one of each date and mint mark, including both the 1987 P and 1987 D coins, and some even try to collect high-grade full steps versions of every year. In summary, the 1987 Jefferson nickel is a common coin in circulation, usually worth 5 cents, but coins in uncirculated or high-grade condition can be worth $1 to $25 or more. Proof versions from the San Francisco Mint are worth a little more, and special coins with full steps or errors can be quite valuable, sometimes over $100. This coin is a great way for both beginners and experienced collectors to enjoy U.S. numismatics and learn more about coin quality, grading, and minting history. Whether found in a coin roll, pocket change, or a proof set, the 1987 Jefferson nickel is a small but meaningful part of America's coin story.